Oh, hey, what's going on, Jonathan? Hope you're doing well. My name, my name's Danny. Yeah, where are you from, Jonathan? Yeah, I appreciate you all joining for today. How's everyone doing? We'll get started once we get additional viewers. We'll just keep it open-ended now. Hey, nice to meet you too, Jonathan. San Diego. Are you part of like La Jolla or like in the heart of like San Diego? Oh, nice. Okay. So how'd you find me, by the way? North Carolina. Gene Viana. Hey, thanks, man. How's the weather out in North Carolina right now? How's everything with COVID situation? Interesting. Southern California is a great place to be. I mean, I uh, I lived down in Southern California for about 5 years when I was down there going to school at UC Irvine. Great location. I mean, it's in the heart of Orange County. I mean, I remember driving down San Diego, visiting. It's great. I mean, the weather you cannot compare it compared to the Bay Area. So I enjoy it out there. Maybe perhaps one day I might consider moving down to Southern California. I mean, San Diego's an idea. I mean, it's a great opportunity out there. I mean, there's a lot of biotech companies, and I really like the weather out there. Hey JMC, hey, what's your name by the way? I know we communicate a lot. I just don't have your actual name by person. 30K as in shares or monetary value? JMC, thank you for joining, man. Oh wow, nice. Okay, so how many shares of Sky was that for you to purchase with that 30,000? So I know it's like at around 11.7. So if you do the math, let's take a look. I mean, I'm sure you have the actual count here. So if it's 30, so you accumulated about 256,000 shares. Okay, yeah, that's about right. 237. I was doing the math at around 11.7 cents. Okay, gotcha. What made you decide to get into SKYE. I'm interested. I mean, one, you can hear about my guidance information about what SKYE can really do, but overall, I mean, what made you to decide to go with SKYE? Is it because, I mean, you're in the heart of San Diego and the company's nearby you and you pass by? Yeah, I mean, definitely undervalued still. I mean, even when you're getting it at the 12 cents, I mean, come in Q2, when the data comes out, that inflection point is going to be coming, at least in the whole entire cannabis industry. I mean, I'm not sure if all of you had listened in on the Benzinga conference for small caps that went on today. Yeah, definitely with the prodrug, right? I mean, by definition, prodrug, the active ingredient starts working once it gets into the eye. And with the amino acids added, the valine hemisuccinate, with it being bioengineered, it's promising. I'm not sure if you all listened in today with Puneet Dillon, just sharing information about the overall company and with the dialogue going on with different cannabis companies in the pharmaceutical space, not specific to like cannabis in the general use population without any pharmaceutical intended uses, but specifically in the meeting that was going on with Puneet as well as others. It was a great conversation because it seemed as though not only was Puneet listening in on what other CEOs were saying, but just putting all of that information together and knowing that the inflection point will take off. I mean, knowing that Jazz Pharmaceuticals was first in delivering, being the pioneer in the cannabis arena. When you think about it, I mean, they don't really have an intellectual property. I mean, there's no bioengineering done. It's really just extracting the CBD, adding it to make the epidioleox. Where now Jazz Pharmaceuticals had done their mathematics and their financial work and realized that they could maximize their value by acquiring GW Pharmaceuticals. So that was a great move. And I agree with you, just with the prodrug, it's undeniable. I'm 100% with you. And yeah, definitely. I mean, come next year when we're talking today, I mean, we will be having phase 1 clinical trials data already showcased. And hey, Greg, thank you for joining. John, PTN, thank you for bringing that up, because the purpose of today is to really kind of just share information, and like to, rather than me going through stocks that I personally think have value in growth, perhaps we can touch more on what you all have to share. So let me go ahead and search up PTN stock and see where we are. For a second, I thought this was like Palantir, but I was like, wait, this isn't the right one, but it sounds like it. Palantir Technologies. So interesting that in the aftermarket, it bull runned up. I mean, what's going on here? Do you know why it's going up, John? I mean, this is great here. I mean, seeing that it's run up by like 10%. Volume is up in the millions, right? And 52-week range, it was at 38 cents. It reached up to like 138. Looking at a 1 year range, early February went up all the way up to the whole dollar share price value of like 115. So do you know why, or what's your takeaway on this ticker, and why do you feel that this company can add value? So it looks like they presented at the H.C. Wainwright Global Life Science. So this is a biopharmaceutical company developing first-in-class medicines based on molecules that modulate. Let's look at their information here. So they're based out in New Jersey. This may change, I'm not sure. But based on the data, okay, so they are involved with COVID-19 as well. Yeah, so this is a biotech play based out in New Jersey. specific to like cardiovascular problems, fibrotic diseases, and cardiac hypertrophy. Oh, close to FDA approval. Okay, interesting. So let's take a look at their website. You know, I live and breathe on biotech. I love just researching biotech. You know, it's what I enjoy, and you're right. Look, I mean, with one of its products here, I mean, low activity sexual desire disorder. I mean, those who don't really have that sexual drive. I mean, this is probably a very good seller, high demand product here, and that looks promising. So, yeah, Greg. So that is great insight there. INND. If you can get it at 1 cent and just hold long term, you're looking good. Hey, Joseph, we will touch on BANTech, INND. I am holding on to those two tickers as well. I mean, even though it's unfortunate to see the share price drop today, I have high expectations just holding it on in the long run. Yeah, definitely with BANTech. I mean, the drone-based company, um, it did take a downward trend, and you know what? I'm just holding long term with that ticker. I mean, I don't know how much you have invested, but I threw in like 5K cash investment into that company, and I'm taking a loss right now. But you know what? What goes down will come up, and I'm just taking that as noisy data right now. That's the whole approach with long term investing. I wish I could have, made the investment at this time where it's more undervalued, but I got in at a higher cost average. But hey, we're all learning here, right? Knowing how to buy stocks at the right time. That's the key. Um, so getting back to Palantir Technologies based out in New Jersey here. So thank you for sharing this information here, John. I do feel like, from a share price standpoint, just looking at their clinical pipeline, I mean, you have actually four products that's already experienced phase 1 clinical trials. Of the 7 product lines, there's already 2 that have passed phase 1 clinical trials demonstrating safety. There's actually 2 product lines that are in phase 1 right now. There's 3 products that's in preclinical trials. So this is looking promising, and as you can see, different indications for use, specifically in cardiology, inflammatory bowel disease, dry eye disease, hypoactive sexual desire disorder. So going back to the share price, I mean, as you can see, there's a recommended strong and buy from 2 analysts, and looking at a 5-year approach, I mean, back in May 2019, it was hovering at the $1.34, and scaling back even further, I mean, this ticker has been fairly quiet, but as you can see, the volume has been picking up here. It's getting more recognition. So I would monitor this company and kind of see what the data is. So that's my takeaway. So thank you for sharing that. I mean, definitely, a value add biotech company. I mean, looking at their product pipeline, I definitely see the increased demand, at least in the MCR4 agonist, right? Because there's a lot of people in here that have low sexual desire for, having that throughout the day and throughout the year. So potentially this drug product can do a lot, but do some research on this, see if there's any safety efficacy problems. What are people saying about this? You want to get the voice of the customer to see if this product is doing well, because this is going to be the inflow in terms of finance for all these other research studies going on. It's a basic female Viagra. Okay, I thought it was for males. I just made that assumption. But hey, this is very big too, right? I mean, especially like those on like the pill, birth control pills. I wonder if this can work in parallel with that product. So I'd be curious to know if that works. Do you know, John? I'd be interested to hear your insights. All right, so Greg, I mean, today, you've posted, the whole idea about buying more iBio. I hope you got it at the low before it ramped up by 10%. And INND, I mean, definitely a good opportunity to get involved with that ticker. I mean, we know that the bears are in right now shorting this company. Once the company establish itself with SEC, getting compliance information, then it definitely will start bull running up, and it's positioning itself for getting involved with an e-commerce business strategy, and I firmly believe that it can make a run. And today, with the share price dropping below the 2 cents, you can either dollar cost average down, or if you're a new investor, you can purchase shares of INND. But in the long term, it'll start catapulting upward. This company is based out in Roseville, California. If you want more details, I can recommend you to look at my most recent YouTube video. I've talked about INND as well, so take a look at that in further detail. Now with BANT, I mean, BANT did take a huge hit today as well as the prior days, but just looking at OTC, I mean, it's been just going down on a downward path. However, you know, if you hold it long term, I have firm belief that, you know, what goes down will come up. So I just view this as noisy data, even though it hurts to see share prices drop like this. But even me, I mean, I'm down on this company, but I'm holding this long term. So let's say if you do have interest in this company, now's the time to really purchase it at a very low cost, and you can gain on maximizing your quantity of shares versus those who purchase at a higher price point around here. So just wanted to share that with you, and I hope I touched the base for you, Joseph. And in terms of new information, I mean, it's just being shorted right now with those two companies. The good thing with INND is that, let me go ahead and share with you additional details, that it's planning on rolling out its products in the UK. So there's a big market opportunity there in the UK for INND. So that is looking promising, at least for Interscope Hearing Technologies. Yeah, so they're rolling out to the UK, so that's you know, that's going to be a huge move for them at least. And one ticker I wanted to share with you today, it bull run up, is PRQR Therapeutics. I mean, as you can see here, it's on a bullish run. It's currently at $9 right now. In the aftermarket, it's $9.25. It's run up by like 62% today. It's primed to continue to rise up. This is a company based out in Netherlands. It's a biotech company focused on RNA-based technologies. They have a license agreement with Ionis Pharmaceuticals, Leiden University, and their headquarters in the Netherlands. Looking at additional details, as you can see, they have their first clinical trial for treatment of Fuchs endothelial corneal dystrophy. And let's just take a look at their website and see what's this all about right here. So as you can see, they're trying to reverse blindness using RNA therapy, and based on their product line, they have a product that's in phase 2 clinical trials, and it's really the aim to restore vision for people with Leber congenital amaurosis. So that's a common mutation that's going on in the gene CEP290. That's huge. Going to the next pipeline product, they have another product in phase 2 clinical trials intended for retinitis pigmentosa Usher syndrome, to really stop vision loss in people with RP. Alright, and then there's a specific gene mutation, USH2A gene, called the exon 13. And looking at their third product here, there's one that's in phase 1 clinical trials for a mutation in the RHO gene using RNA-based technology there. So that's just an overview of this company. I mean, that looks pretty solid. I mean, using the RNA therapy to advance and protect against these mutations going on in your eye. Now that's different from like SKYE Bioscience, because SKYE is specifically focusing on the intended use of like glaucoma. So that's quite different. than what this company is focused on. But amazing to see that its drug product is in the phase 2 clinical trials, and as you can see, whole dollar share price in the $9. If and when SKYE Bioscience is able to get into phase 2 clinical trials and be able to demonstrate safety in phase 1 and efficacy in phase 2, I have firm belief that the share price of SKYE can get up to like $9 as well. So let's not lose sight of that. So I just wanted to share with you PRQR Therapeutics. They're running right now, and the question is, tomorrow can they run even further, right, before the pullback? It can run similar to like eyes, right? I mean, especially in the ocular industry, we're seeing just big time runs. I mean, potentially this ticker can run up to like $15, within the upcoming week. So let's not lose sight of that. And let's see what Greg you have to mention here. And they have the Android app coming out soon, the hearing testing app for Android, definitely. They also have the Hear IQ app that's already used on Apple products. I mean, I downloaded the app, I used it, it's functional, and it's being rolled out in like 180 countries. So they're on that global scale, INND. So just wanted to share with you this hot pick, PRQR Therapeutics, running at 62% today. And the question is, can it run even further? Now that's just amazing news, just seeing that type of run up there. Now, just going through different tickers here, we have PYR, Pyrogenis. Let's take a look at that. Today it ran up as well. This is in the NASDAQ market. Today it ran up about 8% here. Looking at a year to date, at one point it got up to like $9 in midweek of February. And as you can see, Pyrogenesis, they received a $194,000 grant to develop a waste recovery process by plasma gasification. So as you can see, this is what they're working on here. And they are based out in Canada, involved in the industrial side of things. And I don't want to go too much into the details of this here, but just wanted to share with you the information that's shared here. Now, just going to their website, I like just going to the company website because you get like images, you get to see what this company is working on, and gives you more of an overview of what's so unique about this company. So as you can see, they have products, services that they offer: plasma atomized metal powders, aluminum zinc dross recovery, waste management, waste to energy, waste destruction, refrigerant destruction, hazardous waste destruction. And then they also have customer process development for PureVap, a plasma fired steam generator. So I don't want to go too much into the details, but if you find this company valuable, then take a look at it. Ticker is PYR. So they're focused on advanced plasma processes, where they provide engineering and manufacturing expertise in the process equipment packages to the defense, metallurgical, mining, additive manufacturing, 3D printing, oil and gas, and environmental industries. So that's where we are with this company, and it's also ISO regulated by 9001, plasma waste processes that they have in place. Thoughts on, hey Franco, thank you for asking that question. Okay, so thoughts on AYRO. It develops a new electric vaccine vehicle. Okay, I mean, let's take a look at that. AYRO. Now we know that there's different vaccines that's under the emergency use authorization. We know there's Moderna, we know there's Pfizer, we know there's Johnson & Johnson, one-dose vaccine. We know there's Novavax soon to be coming out, AstraZeneca being available. Now, AYRO, okay, so yesterday they released their financial results. I wonder what the outcome is, but as of today, we just see a 1% gain, better than it going down, right? Back in early February, it reached a high point of $11. Back in Q4 2020, it reached double-digit share price range, and now it's definitely undervalued. I mean, let's say if you're trying to invest and you don't have the propensity to pull out, investing in AYRO can definitely add value. I mean, in the long term, right? Because it'll have that opportunity to bounce back upward, and you can definitely gain on double-digit share price range. So that's how I would look at it from my perspective. I'm just taking notes on some of the stocks that we've reviewed today, and then I wanted to leave that into the description below so that we all can refer back to any of these plays. All right, so let me just take note of that. Okay, so PTN. Okay, we will definitely jump on that right after we complete the review of this company here. So okay, so AYRO, I don't know how to pronounce that. It's based out in Texas, right, with an employee count of 15 in the auto manufacturers industry. To your point, Franco, they design, manufacture light-duty emissions electric vehicles for urban and community transport, local delivery, closed campus mobility, recreational, and government use. It offers AYRO 311, a three-wheeled vehicle for professional and personal use, Club Car 411 for low-speed logistics and cargo services for campus, and AYRO 511, and this was founded in Texas. Now, let's just take a look at the website here. Well, I like the look of the product. Now, just looking at the video that they have displayed here, it looks very modern, and I like the look of the vehicle. It looks small, compact, and it's like a golf car if you think about it, but it can carry, I'm sure, a lot of weight. So it's like micro distribution and last mile delivery with rapid customizable deployments that meet specific buyer needs, spearheading the transition to EVs across a variety of market segments and needs. And looking at some of the pictures here, I mean, it's focused on zero carbon footprint initiatives. So I like that, it's part of the whole sustainability, eco-friendly approach. And in terms of CO2 emissions and reduced noise signatures up by like 75%. So a lot of manufacturers, companies would prefer this type of information so they can get partnership with large scale companies from my perspective. So I hope that answers your question, but as you can see, it comes in different sizes here, right? So let's say if you want to deal with more commercial size where you have heavy load items, you're going with the right side. If you want the vaccine stuff where it's protected in temperature controlled environments, I'm sure that middle one is going to add value for companies like, what if like UPS, FedEx, if they partner up with these companies too. But I'm sure that they already have their own brand products, but this is more for like private industries. To the left here, I mean, this is more on the smaller scale. So Franco, I do like, this company. It can definitely add value. And hey, this looks like the Solo vehicle here. So they did have a similar approach to Solo vehicle. However, there's no closed windows here. So depending on what this company offers, it's a little bit different from Solo, but it'll come down to the specifications, right? Difference. Hey Nick, thank you for asking that there. So AITX as a long-term hold, we will look at that. But first off, let me just cover what John had brought up here. So I'm just writing all these tickers down that you all are sharing so that later I can share that with you all too. Hey Paul, thank you for joining, buddy. I'm definitely taking note of SESN, and we can all look here. Okay, so all right. So next up, I hope that helps with the analysis on AYRO. We will jump back on PTN here and see the outcome of Palantir Technologies. Oh my goodness. So we were just looking at this company play like a while back. It was 10%, and then now it's 35%. So hey, for those of you who are, doing the after trading, and I don't tend to get involved with that, but I mean, we were just talking about this, so, give a shout out to John. John brought this up here. PTN, I mean, it's running right now, 33%. So, you know, this company is running hardcore right now. The biotech company that we're looking at for all the different mutations in the eye that's going on, and you know, it can continue running up from the rate that it's going right now. So that's just my perspective here. Also, I'm going to take note of CETX as well. Thank you again, Greg, for providing that information. So next up, we will look at AITX. Okay, these are all like tickers that I have heard about. I don't know so much about it, but anything that has the word artificial intelligence, that's just big news right now, right? We know genomics, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, all of those type of companies are scaling up for innovation, automation. So as you can see here, robotic assistance device to integrate EAGL gunshot detection technology into all security devices. Just hearing that alone, I mean, with fear factor going on, I mean, people would be in full support of these type of robotic assistance devices intended to detect gunshot noise, I'm sure. And then, as you can see, 7 days ago, they signed a lease for a new production facility in the Detroit area. So they are based out in Reno, Nevada. They're focused in the computer hardware industry. And this may be old news here, but let's see what they are focused on. So they are focused on the delivery of AI and robotic solutions for operational security and monitoring needs. The company was formerly known as the Move Systems Corp, and they switched their name about 2-3 years ago, and now they're still based out in Nevada. Looking at it from a share price standpoint, at one point it got up to like 23 cents week 1 of February, and it's been on a downward path. Now, if you have high conviction in this company, then it can continue to scale up, but take a look at the volume there. I mean, volume is decreasing, but it's very difficult to really assess, right? I mean, I would say like take a small play on it if you think it has value, but definitely undervalued compared to when it was like at the 25 cents. 10 cents is much better than 26 cents. So that's my take on this play here, AITX. But thank you for sharing that, Nick. Very helpful. Are you still holding SESN? Okay, so SESN Bio. Okay, so today they went up by like 4%. They're in the NASDAQ market. Looking at a 6-month trend chart here, they were at 1.242, got up to like 3.2, dropped back down. Question is, can it start scaling back up? Now, Sensen Bio and Qilu Pharmaceutical announced approval of IND application in China. That's amazing news, knowing that they can tap into the Asian markets. Now, to get more details on its product, I mean, they're based out in Massachusetts. They're developing targeted fusion protein therapeutics for patients with cancer. Now, they are working with AstraZeneca as well. They have phase 1 clinical trials going on for treatment of squamous cell carcinoma of the head and neck. And they do have an agreement with Leiden University Medical Center to develop an imaging agent. And looking at the company website, their focus is to save and improve the lives of patients. So their programs are specific to like bladder cancer, head and neck cancer, how we work. So these look like, reputable scientists and physicians, part of the team here. I don't want to spend too much detail, but from a long-term approach perspective, they seem like a credible company, Sensen Bio. I mean, the fact that in China they approved the IND. China has a very strict regulation when it comes to regulated products, whether it's medical device or biotech or pharmaceuticals. So just hearing that, there may be a similar correlation to the FDA approving its product. So that's my my assessment. So okay, so there's also NUVI or INUV CT. Okay, INUV. Okay, so let's take a look at that and see what's going on with INUV. INUV. Alright, so another biotech in the NASDAQ market. Its market cap is 127 million. It was at 1.18 cents, ramped up to 235. Looking at a 1-year trend chart, so it's been bull running. Long-term perspective looks good. It has a rating of buy in March. Roth Capital back in 2020 recommended a buy. I mean, they have a large employee scale count here, and so they are focused on advertising agencies to identify and message online audiences for various products and services across device and channels. So just using our behavioral social media patterns, this company provides that service of valid click that helps with marketing for companies to increase sales from how I see it. Now just going to the website INUV here. So it's a data-driven company. We understand the power of trends and data. Our IntentKey AI has analyzed the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic, looking for essentials, distractions, or items that fit their new changing lifestyles both while at home and after the pandemic begins to subside. Okay, so IntentKey is trademarked. It has patent technology, based audience categorization technology, built to extract consumer intent from engagement with digital content. So based on our behavioral patterns with social media, it has 11 patents, so that's looking solid there, right? They can bridge the gap between, just wasted steps in e-commerce, and it can, increase the productivity there. 20 million invested over 12 years, that's great news there. And the whole intent of IntentKey is to identify earliest signals of consumer intent by processing over 200,000 consumer content engagements per second through intent clouds. I would say that not as effective as the Google, search, because we have just so many users of Google, and Google probably has the best platform. But this company can, cater towards a specific sector and take market share from how I see it. So definitely a value add play in terms of the share price right now. I mean, it's great that it's in the NASDAQ market, right? And it's great that it reached $2.35. And looking at a max, I mean, back in 07, it was like $32. Back in 05, it was $60. So definitely undervalued if you're considering going long term with INUV. Not Inovio, but INUV. So it's looking solid. And INUV's key IntentKey generates business-to-business leads at scale by uncovering niche audience data. So companies that really don't have insight on niche plays, then that can look very solid. Now, one ticker I wanted to share with you while you all continue to share information. I was watching the Benzinga conference today, and I wanted to share one ticker with you. It's in the cannabis play. One second. Let me look for that. Okay, got it. So this is CLVR, Clever Leaves Holding. In fact, I listened in on the CEO today. Hey, Ronnie. Thank you for joining. God bless, and I appreciate you joining. We're all just kind of just sharing information today and just giving insight Lots of people are just asking about different tickers. We've gone through PTN, AYRO, PRQR, AITX, SESN, CETX, INUV, CLVR is what we're going to be talking about. And John provided a ticker PTN. When we looked at it, it was like 10%, and then like 5 minutes later, we looked, it was up 30%. So let me see how it's at now. PTN. So let's see. Okay, so it kind of dropped down to 26%. Earlier it was like 33%, but that's something to look at as well. Now I'm just going to cover CLVR. This is a cannabis play here. Clever Leaves Holdings. So I listened in on the CEO. I mean, they're not to the scale of like Afria, but they are in that same tier range. This company looks solid. I mean, their main focus is like having partnerships or sites in Colombia as well. I mean, where you have a lot of high temperature, you have the sun with lots of sunlight at that area, so that really helps with the production of cannabis, right? Now, Clever Leaves Holdings, they cultivate, produces, and sells pharmaceutical grade cannabinoids in the United States, Colombia, Portugal, Germany. They also have sites in Portugal as well, and Canada. It also engages in the formulating, manufacturing, marketing, distributing, and selling of homeopathic and other natural remedies, wellness products, and nutraceuticals. The company was formerly known as Northern Swan Leaves Holdings, and they were incorporated as a company in New York back in 2017. Let's just look at the company website here. Okay, so Clever Leaves, a vertically integrated global cannabis company. So this is their website here, where they focus on high sustainability, efficiency. They're a producer of pharmaceutical and consumer cannabis brands. So it looks like a mature company. And they do, high level, large scale cultivation extractions of cannabinoids. Let's look at their pharma sector. So as you can see, they have partnerships with IQANA. They're focused on research, cultivation, extraction, processing, and distribution of medicinal cannabis. That's in Germany. Herbal Incorporation is an Arizona-based manufacturer and distributor of health and wellness products. Their herbal brands portfolio includes a number of nutraceutical and beverage brands that sell in over 10,000 retail locations across the United States. Clever Leaves 360, based on their business model. There are large-scale cultivation and extraction facilities that have allowed us to become a large wholesale supplier of cannabinoids to companies all around the world. So they're a B2B model, right, where they're providing all of that inventory to smaller scale companies. And their products are available in raw material formats such as crude oils, distillates, and isolates, as well as finished products through its labeling in its manufacturing process. And Cansativa is a Frankfurt-based certified importer and distributor of medical cannabis products throughout Germany. And our investment in Cansativa enables access and distribution of IQANA products throughout German medical marketplace. So I was listening in on this company when the CEO was presenting at the Benzingo conference before SKYE Bioscience, and just hearing the level of expertise, the fact that it has marijuana being grown in like Colombia, that just tells you that this company is going to scale up from a share price standpoint. Just looking at where it is today, I mean, mid-February it hovered up close to like Afria numbers. At the time when it was like mid-February, Afria was up in like the mid-20s. This company, CLVR, reached a high point precipice at $19. It's been on a downward trend here, but it's just a matter of when this company will start ramping up, based on my perspective. So two people from the company actually have experience in mergers and acquisitions. That's very important. I mean, having that experience with acquiring other companies, that's definitely an important piece to have. Price target is okay by Vanguard. It's $3. And that's INUV, right? Greg, is that what you're referring to? Now, I wanted to share with you all with SKYE Bioscience. You know, I was listening to Puneet Dhillon during the panel discussion with other CEOs, and with the 9:10 Pacific Standard Time. That's when Puneet Dhillon presented at the Benzingo conference, and it was great information that was shared. You know, this is definitely a very new field for companies to be in, at least for biotechs, right? I mean, with cannabis, there's going to be two buckets, right? One for recreational use, and two, there's going to be that pharmaceutical science bridging the gap, having specific intended use. And that's going to be very interesting because that's where patented technology comes out. So the companies that have intellectual property built into its product, then it will gain on huge value in the long run. I mean, this whole cannabis industry is going to change significantly. So looking at it in a long-term approach, SKYE Bioscience, I mean, if you are a long investor of SKYE, I mean, whether you want to hold it to next year, right? Let's say next year around this time frame, I mean, March, we will have phase 1 clinical trials data on safety already presented, as well as having some efficacy, even though that's not a requirement for health authorities, but ultimately getting into phase 2 and an inflection point, ramping up the institution investments in that company, and it'll start beginning to look like PRQR, the company that we were looking at previously, right? PRQR at the share price of like $9, where it's in phase 2 clinical trials for the mutations going on. It's looking huge. And yes, hey Reynaldo, thank you for joining. I mean, neuroprotection is huge. I mean, thanks for bringing that up during the whole panel discussion with all of the other cannabinoid pharmaceutical companies. When Puneet was presenting, I mean, he was listening really well, and he was alluding to what the other chief executive officers were presenting, and it was nice because when Puneet started presenting, talking about neuroprotective effects, I mean, we're just at the very top layer of data right now, but as companies continue to dive deeper and really try to understand the endocannabinoid system, for example, with what SKYE Bioscience is doing, this is going to be huge, and there's going to be intellectual property coming, and that's just going to raise the bar with SKYE Bioscience. And neuroprotection data estimated to come, I mean, based on today's data that was released, we don't know whether neuroprotection preclinical trials data or the IOP challenge studies will come first. It may come in parallel, but that's going to definitely raise the future valuation of the company's share price, right? People like data, and when that data does come out, then it's definitely going to look solid. I mean, back in December, early December of 2020, when SKYE Bioscience released their news, very long ago, right? I mean, that was like close to 5 months ago. That was like November, December. That's how I knew about SKYE, and just reading the details, I just got locked in, and that's why, you know, I invested into this company, SKYE Bioscience, because I noticed that one, Puneet's coming from, you know, Inovio Pharmaceuticals like about 10 years ago, and two, the fact that it demonstrates superior reduction in intraocular pressure compared to other glaucoma-related products that really just puts a patch on the symptoms, just reducing the IOP levels. But this company is working on potentially providing neuroprotection as well, and that's what most glaucoma patients need, right? Let's say if you have normal IOP levels, you definitely would want, basically there's a demand for the product to demonstrate neuroprotection, because what's in it for you if you have normal IOPs and you know that the severity won't get hugely impacted, but you definitely want neuroprotection because you don't want to be classified as a glaucoma patient. So that's the interesting thing. So I totally understand. INND did drop big, but one of the good news today with INND, a medical device company in the electronic space, is that it's planning on rolling out its business in the UK. So that was news on Twitter today that was announced where it's planning on scaling up its business in the UK. It has GETX partnership distribution to get its products out there. And not only do they sell the medical device hearing aids, but also they have the tetanitis products, nutrients, vitamins that will enhance the hearing performance. Yeah, definitely. I mean, looking at SKYE's quick ratio too, like their liquidity, it's their quick ratio is about like 3 to 4. I mean, industry average is about a 1. What quick ratio it means is like, what's your liquidity, and are you the type of company where you have to take on risk and like sell your inventory so that you can cover for clinical trials costs? But ultimately, I mean, with Sky Bioscience, they have a high liquidity. They do have cash reserve, so they are positioned to use that, keep a controlled cash flow burn rate, and get its clinical trials going. I mean, in fact, they have their clinical trials to be done in Australia, and there's financial benefits for doing that, right? Getting clinical trials done in Australia, you get positive credit implications. Um, and the patient size is going to be like 65 patients. So we know that any number above 30 is going to be statistically significant. In this case, they're going beyond that. I mean, the minimum requirement is like around 20 to 30 patients, but they're going 65. There's a reason to that. So they're trying to scale up their patient population for phase 1 clinical trials, which is a good thing, right? So um, I foresee, just with product innovation, when you have a competitive advantage, then ultimately the company will do well in the long run. And with Sky Bioscience, how I see it is, there's the day traders, you can make easy money. Let's say like Sky goes down, right? Like we're here on this dip here, you could have got it like at low 11 cents. It pops. This was when it dropped like 7%. It went up to like 1%. You basically gain like 8% by day trading there. But the question is, do you want to gain on positive proceeds from a wealth perspective, or do you want to gain on positive proceeds on just quick wins? I mean, that depends on your style, or do you want to do both? We're all busy. I'm sure we all have things going on with our lives. That's why, you plant the seeds early on and you just hold long term. Even when it's on down days, if you want a dollar cost average down, then so be it. But if you hold long term, that's how you gain huge. So that's just my takeaway that I wanted to share with you all with Sky. But keep coming with the information. Any questions, comments that you have, I'd love to go through different stock plays that you would like to suggest, and we all can share that information here. So as you can see, the recent information that came out was like about 9 days ago, where its current preclinical assessment demonstrates no eye irritation. And what kind of information did they use, right? How did they come up with that? Well, the company is basically using an in vitro assay, Epiocular MTT ET50. This is a known in vitro assay test that the FDA has approved since like 1940. So it's a well-established, gold standard product. And let me just go ahead and read this. The Epiocular MTT ET50 risk assessment assay determines the effective time when a material causes a 50% reduction in the viability of tissue being assessed. Test materials are then categorized into one of 4 classifications, ranging from non-irritating to severe extreme irritation, which correspond to groupings of the in vivo gold standard, the Dries eye test. The preclinical findings from this study demonstrate that THC VHS, this is their prodrug right here, their bioengineered patented product working with University of Mississippi. University of Mississippi is the only institution that has legal rights granted by the DEA, U.S. government, okay, where it's achieved the lowest possible ranking of mild non-irritating at each dose range 0.5 to 2.0 anticipated to be used in SKYE's upcoming phase 1 study. Now this is what the data is showing in rabbits right now, right? Rabbits are generally the animals used in the ocular space for preclinical trials. I mean, their eyeballs are huge, like human eyeballs, right? So it gives good data. And this is looking very promising because if SKYE is able to demonstrate this type of data in preclinical trials, can you imagine when it submits its IND studies to the Food and Drug Administration when they have their pre-IND meetings? FDA is going to be like, hey, this is solid. I mean, you're using EpiCollar in vitro assay and it's demonstrating minimal irritation. You know what? There's no indication of serious adverse events. Based on your clinical investigator, we haven't received any safety reports because as a clinical investigator, basically every clinical trial requires a clinical investigator, right? And the clinical investigator has different requirements. One, you don't have more than 50,000 shares in financial value invested in the company. And two, when you are a clinical investigator for this specific clinical trials running, you have to report any serious adverse events that's going on during the phase trial. So hearing this information in preclinical trials, it at least provides more confidence for patients who elect to be part of the phase 1 clinical trial. So this is looking very solid, and I anticipate that phase 1 clinical trials won't take so long, right? This isn't like a vaccine play. And Ronnie, so you added more SKYE today. You have just high conviction with this company here. You know, that's good. I mean, you know, most people like to invest by diversifying. Some like to invest by going big on one company. And, you know, let's say if you go big on one company and that company hits, then you can play that diversification strategy where you get into dividends and all of that. But, you know, we all are, you know, not like super like rich or anything like that. So if and when we do hit that target price point that we are satisfied with, then we can start playing different strategies. So me, I'm more of a growth investor because I don't really care about dividends at this time. Some people are more value investors where they expect returns from a time standpoint, but that all just changes. So everyone, take a look at MAGA's response. His name is Ronnie. He's up by 4.3 million shares right now. That is huge. Once it hits $1, you are multi-millionaire. $4.3 million, you know, once it gets up to that value. So that's huge, you know, just playing it with just, so that's the whole thing about wealth investing versus like day trading and all that, right? You just hold it long term. Once it hits that value, then you become multi-millionaire, and that's just huge for that type of a quantity of shares. Now, just to read this, our aim is to develop cannabinoid-derived medicines using rigorous pharmaceutical methods and standards. And we are pleased that these results demonstrate the best possible level of safety and non-irritation of the formulation of our novel prodrug of THC, THC-VHS, said Puneet Dhillon, Chief Executive Officer of SKYE Bioscience. It is important to evaluate the irritation potential of a drug formulation in order to avoid exposing humans to potentially irritating materials during clinical testing and or approved use. The data from this study further underpins our confidence in our novel molecule, marking a key step forward as we prepare to enter the clinic later this year. So as you can see, this is the information about EpiCollar. It's an in vitro eye irritation test alternative to animal in vivo testing using human epithelial cells in a 3D model, which closely mimics the histological, morphological, biochemical, and physiological properties of the human corneal epithelium. And this EpiCollar has been used for many years by the industry as a non-animal in vitro alternative to the dry-ease test to assess irritation caused by materials in contact with the eye. So just wanted to give that information to you. And just looking long term, this reduces the risk, right? I mean, a lot of people like kind of wonder, hey, is this a risky type of drug? Does it work? Well, we know the IOP studies, when you look at the data, it's showing that it demonstrates superior reduction in IOP compared to the different drug products like latanoprost, based on like companies like Pfizer making those products. So do have high conviction that its prodrug THC VHS will demonstrate safety and efficacy in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 clinical trials. We just have to play that long investing game, and it'll benefit in the long run. Definitely. I mean, just only invest what you can't afford to lose. That's the key thing, right? I mean, we just wanted to highlight what MAGA has stated. Like when you go on and invest, you always got to make sure to make that mindset confirmation. Whatever you put into the stock market, you're willing to risk that amount in terms of losing that value, right? And only invest what you feel you can afford to lose. Let's say if you have bills, if you have investments going on, mortgages, you can't invest everything all, leaving it all on the table and take on a huge liability approach, right? But if you have that propensity to invest where you do have budget to do other things, then take on that risk. I basically invest based on what I can afford to lose, right? And that's why I'm also invested in SKYE, similar to like MAGA, and just wanted to share that piece with you. Okay, so next ticker I wanted to discuss about, unless anyone has, okay, so Jason, okay, INUV for the win. Right, so let's take a look at INUV. I mean, today it didn't have much movement here, but the fact that we know supply chain is getting very low with the vaccine production, this company can potentially provide new information on its phase 3 clinical trials, and I do feel like it needs information from international countries like China, South Korea, anything to that effect where information is shared about its INO 4800 or the VGX 3100 platform. That's basically what's going to scale this company up. Let me go ahead and just pull up INUV Pharmaceuticals website. If you all don't know what INUV is all about, they are a biotechnology company based out in San Diego, similar to where Sorrento Therapeutics is located, similar to where SKYE Bioscience is located. I mean, I really like companies in San Diego. I mean, I had gone to school at the University of California where I studied biological sciences, and just going down to visit San Diego, La Jolla area, UCSD, there's just so much biotech companies saturated in that area, and that's why I like finding companies in San Diego, because I know that's where the value is. Let's look at INUV's DNA medicines technology, okay? Their pipeline. They are in the HPV, cancer, and infectious disease sector, leveraging DNA medicines. And we know to date there's like the RNA platform, but there's no DNA platform, right? So this is a unique technology that is available, and I'm pulling up the pipeline for INUV Pharmaceuticals. Currently at $9. It's definitely undervalued, right? If you have propensity to invest, the pop-ups will come, right? And if held long term, this can definitely become double-digit high price point from my perspective. They have HPV targeted. Of the 15 vaccines they have, I believe I counted this out correctly, right? They have one that's in phase 3, right? I mean, partnership with China. INUV maintains the global rights. They're partnered up with Apollo Bio. Their VGX 3100 platform. People are dying to hear about the efficacy coming from phase 3. With COVID coming into play, it's really slowed us down, but they're getting towards the end, right? And they have the RRP INO 3107 that FDA has approved this for use in the rare state, not to commercialize, but be part of the rare occurrence where you can actually like test this under like investigational use on patients, and it's demonstrating a huge positive outcomes here. It does have different HPV targeted platforms: cervical, anal, vulvar cancers, For the immuno-oncology, they have the glioblastoma, INO5401. That data is coming out with phase 2, working with Regeneron. As you can see, they're working with AstraZeneca as well. AstraZeneca will be partnering up with Inovio Pharmaceuticals to further expand and enhance to create different vaccines for future years to come with its DMAb technology. So you'll see more monoclonal antibody productions for like the COVID-19, and that'll be using this DMAb technology. For the COVID-19 that's going on, the INO 4800, that's the one that's in phase 2 clinical trials here, supported by CEPI, Bill and Melinda Gates, different infectious disease portfolios here. So they have a wide array of different products that they're working on. But from a share price standpoint, though, I mean, currently undervalued, and it's just that with one of the risks that I see is that it's just with time right now, people just want their vaccines out as soon as possible, right? That's basically the risk they're taking right now. You're getting more vaccines saturated. I mean, most Americans now, they're becoming vaccinated. About a quarter are vaccinated with whether it's Moderna, J&J, Pfizer, soon to be Novavax, different vaccines readily available, as well as AstraZeneca. It's just that right now there's supply chain issues, but I think with Pfizer and Moderna, they have sufficient amount of vaccines being rolled out right now. So it's not like a red flag, because these companies are able to produce and scale up the manufacturing and just distributing it. But in terms of quality, right, do we see effectiveness? Like when people do get these vaccines, does it really provide immunity? That's the question, right? We will see that data coming once we enter like Q3, Q4 of this year, 2021. When November, October, December timeframe comes, do we see an uptick with the number of infections? And once we see that data, then that will really allow for us to compare quality differences between different vaccine therapies. And Inovio Pharmaceuticals, now the fact that there's a lot of competitors right now in the market where there's already commercial use, while Inovio is still in phase 2, phase 3 clinical trials, basically their product has to demonstrate high quality output with safety and efficacy. So that's their bread and butter, by being able to differentiate itself over other vaccine plays. So I hope that answers your insights there, Jason. So thanks for bringing that up. And I'm just curious if anyone has any other stocks to share for us, any hot picks, any high conviction stocks that you wanted to share. Please leave it in the chat below. But unrelated to just with the stock talks and all that, I just wanted to quickly share with you all here. Please make sure to just leave any tickers for us to go through. But now I just wanted to quickly share with you some things that I'm working on outside the context of stock investings and all that. So in fact, I branded the ALLISEEisW. I actually trademarked it, going to the USPTO, United States Patent and Trademark Office. Got it patented, ALLISEEisW, trademarked. So it just really just protects the branding, and I just feel more safe in that regard. And it's interesting because going through this process, you learn a lot about how the government system works, and it's amazing. If any of you ever want to patent, I'm sure Maga, you've gone through this process, because I know you have a business in place, and any trademark, you'd go through USPTO, and depending on what products you want to sell and all that, they have different classes. So I'm learning a lot about that too, because I'm tapping into Amazon. I wanted to share with you an Amazon product that I have on here as well. I mean, this is the first product I listed on Amazon here. This is like reusable straws. So ALLISEEisW here, the 5 R's: recycle, reduce, reuse, repair, and refuse. I don't have any reviews yet or anything, but hopefully that can pick up. But just trying to get into the whole Amazon e-commerce business as well. I do have different products that's coming out, but just starting off, on a small scale, seeing how it goes, and just hopefully, I can just start ramping it up, and I'm just taking, different approaches, learning. Who knows if this will ramp up in the long run? But I feel like as I put more emphasis into, if I put more time and effort, then I'm sure that it will grow in the long run. So also, I left the link in the description of the YouTube, and if you want to support, I mean, this would definitely help, and possibly provide a review as well. That would definitely help. But I'm not asking for you to, but let's say if this can add utility to what you want to do, where you support the sustainability approach, with recycling, reducing, reusing, repairing, refusing, this can help minimize the use of plastic straws. Plastic straws really cause harm to the ocean, and we all don't really think about that, but in the long run it will definitely benefit the environment if we kind of just think in terms of sustainability. So hopefully, Amazon business works out, but that's another avenue that I'm in as well. And thank you for the note there, Maga and James. I really appreciate it. And also, there's the Teespring website that I've launched as well, with the All I See Is W branding. There's different, there's socks, there's long tee sleeves, and Maga, thank you. You actually purchased 2 of these hats here, the snapback All I See Is W hat, so I really appreciate it. And Greg, I know you purchased a long sleeve and then the t-shirt lime color, so thank you for that. Yeah, so I've tested it, Maga. I've used the straw myself, so it works. Just with like drinking soda. Um, so that's where I'm at. I mean, just expanding the profile here, and got it branded by the USPTO here. Hey, Noose, thank you for joining, buddy. I mean, Noose and I, we actually collaborate. We share information, and it really keeps both him and I on our toes with getting the whole Amazon business started. And in fact, I'm just sharing with him USPTO, the process. He's giving me information about it, and we're just learning by sharing information, and going through this step here. I'm learning a lot, but there's a lot to learn as well with Amazon. So hopefully one day, can start making content on that, just to share if I become successful in that area. But yeah, just getting back to the stock talks here. So just wanted to share with you some of those items. But does anyone have any other tickers to share? I mean, I know Noose is big on AZFL, Amazonas Floresto. I mean, today it has gone by like 7%. This is a cannabis play as well, where they extract cannabis based out in, I'm not sure if this is up-to-date information here, but just looking at how it's been running, I mean, back in Q1 2021, this was like 0004, ramped up to like 005, ramped up to 006. Huh, really? Okay, I'm gonna reach out to the Teespring and ask about the hats. But I do see it listed on the analytics page. But I'll follow up on that and just see the timing of that, and see like what's the estimated time delivery. I know it's not like Amazon Quick, where it ships out immediately. So thank you for bringing that up, because notification is very important. So thank you. So Greg, so lime t-shirt, thanks, man. I mean, definitely, Ronnie, Greg, I'd love to get a picture of that. So make sure to send it to like alliseeisW@outlook.com. I'd love to, just kind of post those pictures up on my Instagram, just to share with others. In fact, Noose, he got a long sleeve as well on the All I See Is W. So I spammed his photo on my Instagram. But I just wanted to also thank you, Ronnie. You surprised me. I'm just gonna share with everyone here. you know, I came home one day and then I was like, what's this box? Where is this from? Detroit, Michigan. And then I opened it and I'm like, wait, what the heck? There's Qualia Mine and Qualia Night sent to me. I'm like, wait, how did this come to me? And I was just trying to investigate to see who sent this to me. And little did I know, MAGA actually sent this to me. So that's just big, thanks. And that's just, just that gratitude. And you know what, MAGA, I'm going to be sending you the straws there. So I hope that, you can share it with others as well, because I'll send you a few and, just really appreciate that. Hey, Ronaldo, you just bought the hat. Hey, man, thank you for that. Thanks for representing that All I See Is W. But you know what? It's branded as well, so trademark. So hopefully there's not going to be any copycats, at least in the United States. But I really appreciate you doing that. If you use Honey app, you can save on. Let me write that down. Honey app. I have no idea what Honey app is, but I'm just learning all these different platforms. I'm not too good with technology, but it's great to kind of learn from all of you and everything that you all share. But with Greg, Ronnie, Reynaldo, Noose, that's just amazing with all of that you do. Just really representing that All I See Is W branding. And I know you all are experienced investors. I mean, just by like hearing the type of quantity of shares you all invest in, and the knowledge that you all share. Like Noose provided Amazonas Floresto in the OTC, and like I know like recently it was just running. I mean, when I heard about it from him, it was like in the low share price, but I already have all of my funds accumulated in other areas. I'm just trying to make my money back, if not let it go up. But like it started bull running up, so I was unfortunate, but just kind of wanted to share that insight with you. Similar with MAGA sharing a TCAT, even though it kind of dropped today. I mean, let's say if you were to take profits, I mean, today it went back up, but yesterday it dropped by like 30%. But when he shared this ticker, it was like I believe in the low $15, but it ramped up like mid-March. It was $5, and it ran all the way up to $66. You rode this wave here, you would have gained on huge proceeds. But that's just that type of information that you're able to collect with your due diligence and sharing that with our community. That's just basically how people can gain in value. But when a company runs up like this, there's going to be that downward pull down, and then when will it start ramping up again, right? With that whole NFT demand right now going on. So I just think of like TCAT every time when you share that, and then ZKIN as well. Let's see how ZKIN is doing. I mean, okay, it's dropped today, but looking at a 5-day. Okay, March 18th, it started ramping up to like $12, so at least 30-40% gains, and it's taking a pullback here. So just wanted to share that as well. Any other tickers that anyone else would like to share? But there's one, I mean, today, I'm not sure, but I know Greg Twits, I mean, I have a position in ABIO as well. I mean, this company, I remember last year when it reached a $7 high point, and I didn't take any profits. I just let it ride and ride. I mean, it would have been great if I took profits here and then reallocated elsewhere, but I was thinking in terms of long term. So hopefully it starts bull running back up. But today it's back up by like 10%. It does have the swine flu vaccine. It has fibrosis vaccine. It has the vaccine for COVID, and they partner up with Texas A&M, the largest institution in Texas. And the fact that once it scales up its approved vaccines, it can scale up in the quantity of billions with a low operational expense. So that's why I kind of like this company, and I like the CEO, Tom Isett. who just came on board not too long ago, and they are a contract manufacturer to develop monoclonal antibodies with its patented technology, Fast Farm. So as you can see, everyone, MAGA's noting here that ZKIN will be $30 soon. So take note of that. Let me write that down as well so I can share that information after this live stream, so that I can post it in the description, just so at least we all know what we were discussing about. But Reynaldo, thank you, man, for supporting, getting a hat. That's very nice of you, because the sky's the limit, and it's coming. Hey, British trader, we just covered Inovio Pharmaceuticals. Let me go ahead and write down AIV, INO, and any particular questions about INO, please definitely leave it down below. Okay, so AIV, Apartment Investment and Management Company. Okay, interesting, very interesting. I don't tend to see much tickers in this arena here, but hey, Apartment Investment Management Company, that's where the money's flowing right now, right? I mean, either you're investing in stocks, digital currency, or property. But having a stock play for this, that's huge. Now you have hold, strong buy, very low analyst for underperformance sell. This company is based out in Colorado in the real estate market, 52 employees, focused on the ownership and management of quality apartment communities. I mean, when you drive all around the states, at least in California, I'm seeing so many apartments, condos being built. It takes a couple months to have it built already. So I'm with this type of company, AMCO, creating value, improve your surroundings. Similar to some of our projects, our website is under construction. Investor info, learn about us. Our mission is to make real estate investments where outcomes are enhanced through human capital and substantial values created for investors, teammates, and the communities in which we operate. So I love the website in terms of how it looks here. So the ticker is on the New York Stock Exchange. AIV is a real estate company that combines the development and redevelopment of apartment communities with opportunistic transactions focused generally on multifamily sector. We also own and invest in vibrant portfolio of mixed-use properties from Boston down to Miami out to San Diego. So taking on the coastal states, that's where the money's at, right? With high standard of living and high price points with real estate. So that's solid. I mean, its current price is $5. We'll look at the overall technicals to see how it's performing. And based on this statement, our transactions generate long-term value in an advantageous redevelopment and development pipeline. AIMCO's portfolio currently comprises of high-quality multifamily, office, and retail assets in dynamic neighborhoods and urban areas nationwide. So it'll only continue to grow. It has offices in the Colorado area. Okay, now going back to the stock ticker AIV, let's see if there's any news. Okay, so they post the Q4 loss, stock gains as revenue increases. Okay, so that's good news there. Now let's take a look at the year-to-date first. Okay, so early March it was at $4 and it's ramping up. Wow, short-term, mid-term, long-term is estimated to bull run. There's a bearish RSI noted, but back in 2020 Q4 it was at the $3. Now it's at $5. Going back to a 5-year. Going back to 2007, it was at $8. This company definitely has room to grow from my perspective, just knowing that real estate is the name of the game right now. Thank you for sharing that. I've made note of that, AIV, because definitely $30 is not too far away, because similar to that, I mean, I think of like Kirkland's, KRRK. This is like considered like the #1 stock on bar charts. Top 100, it's listed as number 1. You look at the 52-week range, 68 cents all the way up to like $33. People are spending money right now, especially during the COVID situation. I mean, back in May of 2020, at the time of COVID, people were at home, e-commerce was big, social media platforms were big. This ramped all the way up to like close to like $30 not too long ago. And looking at their social media website, Kirkland's, there's about 1.1 million followers. So in the whole consumer business, real estate, it's ramping up. So it's a Tennessee-based company. So it kind of reminds me of that real estate play, like whether it can ramp up to $30. I firmly believe AIV has that potential as well. So thank you, British Trader, for sharing that information. AIV, I'll make note of that, and I will post that in the description of the video. Biogen, okay, I've heard of that company, but I don't know the exact details. Let's pull that up. BIIB. In fact, I don't. I'm not familiar with that symbol ticker. So Biogen, okay. So this is similar to like large companies like ILMN. When you want to buy a company at a high share price. I mean, today 3%. Let's look at the max trend chart. It went up at one point to 422. It's now down to 265. Okay, so BIIB, yeah, man, I believe it's a great long-term play. Yeah, definitely undervalued at this time, knowing that it ramped up to 409. You plant your money there. Let's say if you have a propensity to just not be able to pull out, it will gain in value. Let's look at the employee count here. I mean, 32. Oh my gosh, there's like no selling recommendations, and the high is like 458 with an average of 289. So I would expect that this company has value-add products in the healthcare space. They're a drug manufacturer, and look at the employee size count, 9,000 employees. You know that they know what they're doing. They're established. They offer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, leukemia. I mean, that's a killer, right? Disease, rheumatoid arthritis, vulgaritis, lymphoma. It's basically cancer. Neuroimmunology, Alzheimer's, dementia, neuromuscular disorders, Parkinson's disease. That's a neurotransmitter disease where you don't have a balance of your dopamine levels. That's why you have like twitches. You have movement disorders, neuropsychiatry. So a number of different products in the whole neurology, neuropathic pain space, and they have agreements with Accorda Therapeutics, Ireland Limited, Bristol and Myers Squibb Company, Genentech, Neuroamine, Ionis Pharmaceuticals, and the fact that they're based out in Massachusetts, you know that this is a relatively high quality biotech company from my perspective. One moment, I just need to take a quick drink there. So, in terms of the concentration of what's so unique about this company, they have the innovation. That's what's the driver, and their earnings. They're making money and they're hiring. So you know that they have money for R&D investments to create new products in the pipeline. They have solid product differentiation because innovation is high, and their earnings report looks solid. So thank you for sharing that. BIIB kind of reminds me of like ILMN. I'll share with you ILMN. This is a great company as well. But in terms of share price value, you see it ramped up to like 504. Back in like towards the end of the year, it was like low 300s. It ramped up to $500. ILMN. As you can see, there's a high recommendation for buys as well. And they have about similar employee count size here with like 7,800, headquartered in San Diego. There's sites here in the Santa Clara area as well. They're focused on like genetic analysis, specifically in clinical settings for applications in life science, oncology, reproductive health, agriculture, and other emerging segments. Now, next generation sequence testing, that's basically their secret recipe in the in vitro diagnostic arena. So, just wanted to share that with you. So it seems like H&R Block, there's a ticker for that too. What's the ticker for that? British Trader? So I'm going to go ahead and pull up VIR Biotechnology. So it's gained up by like 8% here, as you can see. This company is based out in San Francisco, a fairly large company focused on developing infectious disease products for Hep B, influenza A virus, tuberculosis. So this is a company that's in the vaccine play. They work with GSK. They also are manufacturer of potential SARS-CoV-2 antibodies for potential COVID-19. And they do have a clinical collaboration with Gilead Sciences for Hep B virus. So definitely a value add play, right? Knowing that it's in California, San Francisco base, and since it ramped up to like $76, if you park your money here, it can definitely U-shape up with VIR. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's what happened to me too. I kind of got out of like Illumina, and then I reallocated to other arenas, and then seeing it pop up to like 500, it's like, oh man, why did I do that? But that's what happens when you're jumping around to different tickers. So HRB is the okay. So that's I'm guessing that's the H&R ticker. Let's see, HRB, H&R Block. Oh shit, I didn't realize there's a ticker for that. H&R Block. I mean, especially during tax season, this company will grow, right? I mean, low $13 up to 20. This can be like a $30-$40 stock. Just knowing that this company is big, and it's not a small company, and it has the software in place for people to use, do-it-yourself taxes. Everyone knows about H&R Block. I think it's the branding that really adds value. People just know what H&R Block's all about, even though there's like other companies out there like TurboTax and all that. But looking at the sector, I mean, they're hiring, they have good earnings report and dividends report for investors. So that looks solid there. But yeah, thank you for sharing that, British Trader. So are there any other ticker ideas that you all want to share now? If not, I'm just going to give it a few more minutes if anyone wants to provide any last minute tickers to evaluate. I'll give it like 2-3 minutes. If not, then I guess we can soon end the live stream. It's all dependent on what you all want to talk about, but seems like we've covered a number of tickers. I will share that in the live description if you want to look back and see if these are any potential plays you want to look forward with. But overall, I just wanted to thank you all for joining today's live stream. I'm continually learning, and I appreciate you all giving the feedback, definitely. And just wanted to share with you some of the things that I'm working on, like with the trademark of All I See Is W, submitted through the United States Patent and Trademark Office. That's underway. With the All I See Is W branding with the hats, like there's different merchandise there. And I thank those who've supported with that, with online merchandise products. And, with my first online Amazon merchandise product, I left it in the description below too for you to look at if you want to purchase this set here with All I See Is W. Price is like $4, and if you do consider, you can possibly leave a review as well once you receive the product. But I'd really appreciate it if you can support with that as well. It's my journey in taking the e-commerce route on Amazon. Okay, so it looks like there's more questions here. Input space. Okay, so thanks again for providing more tickers here. Space. I'm not sure what that is, but if you can clarify the ticker. Oh, Virgin Galactic. Oh yeah, space. Okay. So Virgin Galactic. Okay, so SPCE. I'll make note of that, and then we will talk about CSLT. Thanks, Hassan, for bringing that up. I really appreciate it there. Yeah, man. I mean, what really got my attention? I'm taking like an MBA course right now. One of the classes I'm in is computer information management and information technology, and just learning about e-commerce. It's growing by 30% year over year. So just hearing that, online purchasing is basically going to be the name of the game, right? Digital marketing, online sales. So definitely get involved. I mean, if e-commerce grows 30% year over year, then people are gonna start doing things online instead, right? And then that reduces the cost of searching for products because you can just have it branded online. So definitely get involved with that. I highly recommend it. So selling on Amazon is the way to go. I mean, there's going to be inertia at the early beginning, right? There will be costs. You have to pay like $40 per month to sell on Amazon. There will be inertia, but if you put a lot of work into it, then it will grow. From my perspective, yeah. But okay, so back to Virgin Galactic SPCE. Okay, so it's gone up by about 5% today, so that's definitely good, right? I mean, previously ran up by like $60, so it's dropped by like 50% already in its value. Those who are holding on are like in pain right now, but if you hold long term, what goes down will likely go back up. 52-week range was $12, $62 is the high point. It has a volume of like 8.6 million, and this company is in the aerospace defense, 823 employees, where they develop human space flight for private individuals and researchers in the United States. It also manufactures air and space vehicles. The company's spaceship operations include commercial human spaceflight, flying commercial research and development payloads. It engages in design and development, manufacturing, and ground and flight testing and post-flight maintenance of spaceflight vehicles based out in New Mexico. So definitely looking solid. Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate you providing all these tickers, British Trader. This is definitely a ticker that can add value. I mean, definitely undervalued, right? After that big drop from like 60 down to where it's at now. So that's my perspective. And thank you for sharing that. And then next up, we're going to look at is CSLT, Castlight Health. I've never heard of this, but looks like it's in the New York Stock Exchange today. It bull run up by 5%. It's gaining in value. I mean, at least from a day-to-day perspective. From a 6-month trend chart, it was like hovering at like 85 cents back in Q4 2020. It reached a high point March 3rd of like $2.20. It's been taking a downward trend. The question is, when can it pop back up, right? This looks undervalued at this time. If you have high conviction in this company. So let's see what's so unique about this company. What do they do and who do they sell to, right? I mean, March, the data's looking good. San Francisco-based company in the healthcare environment. So they provide solutions for employers and health plan customers in education, manufacturing, retail, government, and technology industries in the United States. So they're based out in San Francisco. We see that it's in the normal state equilibrium there. Let's look at the company website. So Castlight. Yeah, so this is like a software-driven type of company. But the user interface, the UI, user experience looks pretty solid here. I don't know the exact details, but thank you for sharing. insights on this company here. I mean, employers, workspace reopening, behavioral health, high-touch care guides. So it looks like a company that can grow. I mean, it's a company that's providing solutions to the employer market. So thank you for sharing that. So I will make note of that and then also add it into the description as well. But are there any other tickers that any of you want to cover? If not, I'm just going to say thank you for joining today. Okay, ABIO, but ABIO, I love ABIO. Arca Biopharma. I mean, at 380. I mean, it reached a high point of $5, right? This kind of reminds me of like a Genus, where it reached like $5-6, and now it's like at the $3 range. Definitely undervalued, $3.80. So, if you believe in this company, this biotech company, then purchasing at the $3, you can't go wrong with that. I mean, the fact that it was like at $50, based out in Colorado. They also have phase 2 clinical trial product for treatment of diseases caused by ribonucleic acid viruses, initially focusing on COVID-19. They also have another product, beta adrenergic receptor antagonist, that has completed phase 2 trial for the treatment of atrial fibrillation, AF. I actually came from a company that makes pacemakers, implantable cardioverter defibrillators, and mechanical heart pumps. So I understand the demand of like atrial fibrillation products that can speed up, the heart flow, or slow it down, right? Atrial fibrillation is when the heart quivers very fast, and when you have antagonist products, it slows down the atrial fibrillation, so it prevents like your ICD, your implantable device, from firing electrical impulse to keep your heart rate at a normal heartbeat. But very dangerous disease. I mean, atrial fibrillation, right? AF. You have 4 chambers in your heart, and whenever you have atrial fibrillation, the atrium, the 2 components in your heart, are not contracting adequately, and that's where you can have backflow with blood, and that can really cause damage where you don't provide adequate oxygen all around your body. So I hope that helps, but definitely a company that has high demand, especially with the products that they're working on. So that's ABIO. Okay, and from a share price standpoint, definitely undervalued. 2016 it was like at $50. Right now it's at $3.80. As you hold long term, it can definitely gain on positive proceeds in the long run. So with all of that, I mean, unless anyone else provides any additional tickers, I'll give it about a minute or two. If I don't see any other tickers that's added in the chat box, I will end the live stream. But yeah, thank you, Hassan, for for watching. Science, energy is a now, definitely. I mean, genomics, diagnostics, solar energy plays, clean energy, renewable energy, automation, innovation. There's like nano dimension, right? Advancing the electronics manufacturing space. All of those disruptor companies adding value to how we traditionally look at companies. Those are the investments you want to be in, as well as like the real estate plays, right, that you had shared, British Trader. But with all of that, just wanted to say thank you all for joining, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you. We'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye, all.